Hey, Wimpy here. Here's a build. It's at level 40. It's Grave Warden Mia. So I thought it would be a fun exercise to try to fit as many of the death ritual spells, what have you, on level 40 character and see if I could make it work. And the answer might surprise you. Actually, it won't surprise you. This is not a very good build. It's pretty reliant on using the physic in order to use some of the other spells. Granted, some of these spells are very, very good at low level. Even low level, your resistances are generally pretty low, so you're pretty easily able to proc Frostbite if you land them. And you'll see in a couple of these clips I've landed it. But the real purpose of this video is to talk about ganks and really what constitutes a gank. Because I see a lot of discourse online, and in my opinion, the discourse is a little fundamentally flawed. If somebody is just going through the level and they stop and pause to fight you, I would not consider that a gank, nor would I consider having blues on a gank. However, these situations I think can turn into ganks, as you'll see in these upcoming clips. For reference, this first invasion here, I cut about 40 minutes off. The host stayed in the bottom area prior to getting on the elevator and would send up his summon. I think his summon ended up dying to some PvE, and now he has the blue ring on. And eventually I just blocked the summon because I got tired of seeing him over and over again. Yeah, he obviously has the blue ring on, so he's sending his goons after me. So you have some clips of me killing some hunters. Right now I'm using the Mesmer Soldier Spear with what Ash War is that? The spinny one. It true combos in the R2 if you land it. However, this character doesn't have very much stamina. I've had to use basically every stat boosting talisman I have to even get to be able to use some of the spells. So it's kind of the downside. While the spells are strong, I don't really consider this to be overpowered because I have a 3-minute timer in which I can use them. But now here we go to another blue. I don't know why I decided to carry and slice those boulders, but I think I got my brain mixed up and I wanted to roll, and instead I attacked them. Very smart. Right now I'm just trying to goad the hunter to come over here. Now he's already dead, he just hasn't realized it yet. And we get to realize with him in real time here. These little lightning orbs, these are the true legends of PvP right here. These have killed more over-leveled phantoms than, you know, any single invader. So now I'm squaring off with the host. We'll come back to this in a bit, but as you can see, he is some equipment that is pretty late game. Now, to be fair, so do I. I'm wearing the Mikola's crown in order to get some extra stats. Later in the video, you'll see I changed up my fashion a little bit. I just don't really like the look of the crown, so I actually took less health in order to actually wear something that I thought looked fashionable. But since my level is 40, this host could be around level 60, I would guess. He's keeping his weapon level low to be able to match with invaders, I'm assuming. I think max is like 10 from plus 6. So yeah, he's 60 plus 10. Oh, that's about right. I mean, that's a little low. If I was there, I would probably be around plus 12, I would think. But you see, he's also rune arced. And when he's rune arced, I believe that gives you 40 extra levels. And for people that don't know, every time you get a level, you also get, I don't really say passive bonuses too, but you get a set amount of defense and absorption, etc., to your character. And if you use a rune arc, you essentially get those for free. So he is potentially a level 60 character, but in truth, he's around a level 100. And that's why he's so tanky. He's also crabbed up right now. So realistically, I'm only doing damage from the magic / frost portion of my weapons. Because the physical damage is probably all negated. Or close to it. That was a pretty good parry from him, I will give him that. But once his little friend here showed up, I decided it was time to leave for greener pastures. But we'll come back to this in a minute. Let's see here. Oh, I tried to bait this summon over here, but they didn't want to die to the orbs either, which is understandable, right? Here's another invasion. I wouldn't classify this as a gank, at least not initially, but I think the host's behavior later on, which you'll see, might qualify him for at least a little bit of bad manners. I don't want to say bad manners. I don't think the host really realizes what they're doing is bad manners. And again, there's no rules to invasions. Play with your friends. If you didn't play with your friends, then I wouldn't be able to invade, right? But as you'll see here, as soon as I start to pick them off one by one, the host runs all the way back to the beginning. Here, I was kind of playing around. I just wanted to mess around with the Milady a little bit, mess around with some spells. But I quickly learned, not really the other gold, but this summon right here hits very, very hard. And while he is downscaled, nice backstab. While he is downscaled, as you can see from the damage done to him and the damage that he's able to do to me, there's not quite an even playing field, and we'll soon see why. But I think it's time for a palate cleanser. Here's a fun little mage off. I was just saying hello to this guy here, and we decided to start lobbing some spells at each other. And it's at this point that I realized, hey, you know what? I can deflect spells, and also that I have spells. You'll see here in a bit I swapped. Let me see here to the Spectral Rings of Light spell. That spell at higher level is absolutely awful. As in good. It's as awful as in it tracks very, very well. It applies frost, does magic damage, and is very, very spammable. But at this level with this much mana, it's kind of, it doesn't really do too much burst damage other than if it manages to proc a frost. It's still annoying. But he was lobbing some spells at me, so I'm like, I should be able to lob some spells at him too, Oh, that's all fair. I actually have to admire his strategy. I think it was kind of a neat strategy to cast the mist spell to make some space, and then your ranged spells. But here we can see a good example of Vortex, how much work it can do at low level. Boom, basically one-shots. That's an instant frost as well as whatever magic damage it does. So we'll head here back to these guys again. I don't know what happened to the other summon. I think he died off screen. I think he died to one of the archers, but they decided they had enough of my shit, so they cornered me up here. But luckily, I also have Night Maiden's Mist, and if you didn't know, Night Maiden's Mist, along with Volcano Pots, is a great way to keep people from climbing up ladders to get to you. The damage that it procs over time, the ticks, I guess you could say, is enough to just knock people off ladders. So it's good if you want to ladder camp. Right now I'm using the DLC Ballista. And given the setup of a host, I think it's pretty safe to assume that he's not entirely honest. So in a little bit here, you'll see me pop some Starlight Swords. I try not to in just normal invasions, but if somebody is game to use whatever they have, then so am I. I got some Frost Pots and some hefty Magic Pots here too, which can do some pretty good damage when they land. Refresh the Night Maiden's Mist. I stupidly stand in it here. I always forget the range of it, but I think the other guy is trying to throw Frozen Mist at the bottom of the floor. So it's not really going through. But yeah, some shenanigans. These are 2 completely new blues, by the way. I think in total in this invasion I killed like 7 blues. Pretty well. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to play the game. Obviously, the host knows what he's doing, so I don't really have any issues playing the way I'm doing now. I know some people in the comments or people that watch on stream will be like, "Oh, like just fight them, just fight them." But you see, the thing is, I tried to just fight them, and the host would run away. So, you know, he obviously wants to play with backup, and if he's going to play with backup, I will play with my wits. So I didn't mean to fall down there, but as you see, I swapped to the Zamor Curve Sword, which is really just a weapon art on a stick. The Frost Storm thing that it shoots out does insane amounts of damage. Has a really good get off me tool, and if you can fit it on the build, it's worth fitting on the build. Even if you're not really like a magic character, you know, it's probably worth it. So actually, maybe Mesmer Joe was on earlier. I don't remember. I at this point I have forgotten which blues were who, but anyway, yep. So one more blue down. Drink up the refill my flask, and there's the host. He's hightailing it again. So we'll be back to this later. Here's this other gank. Gank question mark. This, you know, this isn't really a gank, but you know, it kind of turns into a situation where you know, you're kind of forced to play in ways that you might not normally, or you know, play a little bit more cautiously. I think this is really the point where I realized that this guy is doing some damage. He has 2 daggers from the DLC. It's kind of cool looking, the frost and the ice infusion. But he's doing some really good damage here. He procs frost on me once and basically halves my health. So I need to exfil out of there and make it over to the kill room, which you didn't know is this room in this basement. I almost died there. And he was not paying attention. His eyes were red, so he was able to get finished off. And there you can see that many souls. He was max level, by the way, level 713. And this guy decided that he wants to go hang out up top side, I guess, so we'll come back to this. Here's some more palette cleansing invasions. I say palette cleansing, these are, I think, equally one-sided in my favor, and that's really the truth of all invasions, is that, you know, it's gonna be one or the other, it seems like. It's very rare that you meet something that's like equally matched. And that's fine, they're not supposed to be, you know, level playing fields. But it is funny that it's either one or the other, you know. Here's a good example of a fun little spell combo. I swapped to the Great Katana with Chilling Mist on it. Amazing range, hyper armor, all that jazz. This guy is sitting back to the door for some reason, so I go ahead and take the free damage and then cast 4 checks off of it. And it manages to finish him off, and I roll catch with Chilling Mist. What was that, like 10 seconds? Oh, we're back to these. These are 2 brand new blues. Well, 1 summon and 1 blue. And they are a little bit more patient. They obviously know about the lightning balls around the area, so they don't really want to aggress too far. But, you know, I'm a patient gamer as well, too. And when there are situations like these, I think, you know, obviously, what I probably should have done in the very beginning is just leave when I saw the host. But I was determined to stick it out in this invasion, you know. I mean, sometimes they could be fun, the long ones. He decided to aggress on me for some reason while the lightning orb was there. Yeah, and it killed him. So, his buddy, this blue, watched him die and then decided he would attack afterwards. What? Wow, it's fun. It's, you know, he's like, I'm gonna get him, but only once this other guy dies. But yeah, if they want to play the patient game, I keep healing items, you know, on me to, you know, I can play that game too, you know. If we're gonna play the stand around game, I can stand around. There's no big deal. And in fact, I'd say in some situations, it's probably better just to stand around too. As you see, 1 more hunter got summoned there. So in a little bit here, he's also just going to decide to walk forward. These are the one money. But again, it's fine, you know. He can use up his FP, it's okay. But he'll just aggress on me. 499 vigor. Do a little dance for him. Alright, back to Leyendell. So, unbeknownst to the host, I blocked the max level summon, as I have no interest in fighting him over and over again. They've ran all the way up to not just the starting bonfire of the area, but the little area before it with the elevator on the bridge. So they're just hanging out, trying to resummon their friend. They will soon find out that they are not able to. But the host makes a critical mistake in that they send back the other summon as well, leaving them alone. So that leaves me free to go up there and fight them, which is what I'll end up doing here in a little bit once I get off of this roof. I think this is one more palate cleanser here. These guys are fun. They are two Bloodhound bros. The Bloodhound Fang, I think I've talked about this before, but it's just such a good weapon. Like, I'm not even mad about people using it a whole bunch because it really, really shines. I recently did a playthrough of the entire game making a quality build, and I used the Bloodhound Fang as my weapon to delete bosses. And with the right talisman setup and the right stats, it will absolutely shred. So you know, and you can get it right at the beginning of the game. So you can't hate on people for using it. Yeah, it's, you know, I rate it higher than Moonveil and Rivers of Blood. I would rather see Bloodhound Fangs than Moonveil and Rivers of Blood, personally. But anyway, this host decides he wants to block against some R2s, which is a mistake. Look at that burrito there. Oh! And the riposte. GG's. Let's see. Oh, we're jumping around so often. I'm actually starting to lose track. This was the first invasion, and I've just been up here, and the host has been sitting at the entrance to the boss fog for a good while, like 5 or 6 minutes. I think he was waiting for me to run over there, but I know that as soon as I do that, he would just enter the boss arena. So, you know, GG's, he found the boss, you know, eventually after all of that, after like 50 minutes. He did it. He managed to play the game. No shade. I think from his setup, it's pretty clear he was, you know, ganking, or in the very least, wanted to fight PvP. But this guy, as you can tell, is not a PvPer, and isn't really a ganker. He was just lumped into that in my brain by association because he had some very sweaty friends. But he's actually quite cute, you know. If not a little laggy. I think these guys are from like Italy or something. I am on the other end of the world. Just goes to show you that, you know, what you may interpret as a gank might not be a gank. It might just be, you know, people playing the game. But people playing the game can just turn into a gank. I think there is some crossover there. That being said, GG's to this guy and to his friends for carrying him this entire way through the game. You know, this point down isn't for him. It's for his friends. All right.